Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show, the special edition at the Tamarack Country Club in Greenwich, Connecticut for the John Starks Golf Classic, the annual golf classic to raise money for the John Starks Foundation, johnstarks.com. You already know the story. John puts a lot of kids through school, through scholarships. It's phenomenal. Kids who get a start in life and put on the right track and don't have to pay years of debt to do it. He's really an inspiration, and he was an NBA legend who started doing this back in his NBA days, and we're honored, humbled, and proud to be not only friends with John, but also be able to broadcast live here and raise attention and awareness for the John Starks Foundation. You can get involved, donate time, money, or resources, johnstarks.com. Go check it out now. All right, you are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. Reach us on social media at BeTerrific TV. I've been promising this guest for a little while. I know it's making Gee Whiz Greg really happy, and probably his girlfriend Heather. She's got to be really excited right now. I'm excited because he's a great guy. I've interviewed him before, but he's just a lot of fun every time we see him. Kevin Sorbo, also known as Hercules, is here. Kevin,
good to be here. Good to be here.
Good to have you.
I made it up. I know they've been trying to get me coming for like 8-9 years now, but every time they call, I'm busy doing something else. And this happened. I just finished a movie in Australia, so the timing was right just to do this now before I start my next little movie.
What were you working on in Australia?
It's a movie that it deals with. Actually, it deals with Mormon missionaries in the 50s bringing basketball down to Australia. They were called the Mormon Yankees.
That's pretty cool.
The title of the movie is called The Spirit of the Game, and it's how they actually were so good that they were being the Australian national team back during the 50s. So they used them as basically just how can we get better at this game? And for them it was a way to spread their mission and stuff like that. So I've got connections up there. I go to Salt Lake a lot. I go to I got a place up in Deer Valley. I go skiing a lot. So I've been going up there for years, and that's how this whole thing sort of happened with him.
It's pretty cool. It sounds like a fun movie, and it's something that's interesting that I didn't know.
Well, I didn't know it either. I had no idea. I mean, I'm not Mormon, so I didn't know that part of their history. So it was interesting to be part of it and read the story behind it. And I'm a basketball fan, and here we are with with John Starks, and so it's an interesting tie-in. What it is.
What is your favorite basketball team?
You know what? I'm the only reason I want to say Lakers is this, because I'm from Minnesota, and a lot of people don't realize. Lakers came from Minnesota.
They did, yeah.
I asked people in LA, they're Lakers fans, I go, where do you think they got the name Lakers? And they have no idea. There are no lakes in LA.
I was going to say,
there are over 10,000 in Minnesota. The Minneapolis Lakers were a big team in the 50s.
Yeah.
George Mikan was the first big superstar. I mean, I wasn't born there, but my dad was a big fan. So when they left in 1958, my dad, through the 60s and 70s for me growing up, my dad always watched the Lakers, so that became a fan. But I'm also I'm friends with Kevin McHale, so I'm a Celtic fan that way. I played against McHale in high school.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So, was he as brutal then?
You know, he's always. I'm 6'3". He had arms that were 6'3". You know, so this guy had fadeaways. You couldn't stop that shot.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop.
Did you know when you were in high school, when you were playing him, that this guy was going to be going to the NBA?
Yeah.
You could tell.
And who was the other guy to Melrose, a little town halfway up the state? Olberding. There's Olberding. I know there is. My mind.
No, you could be right. I just don't know.
You could tell these guys had a lot of write-up in the state and the whole around the area that you knew these guys were good.
Minnesota seems like such a great place to grow up. I've spent a lot of time there doing a lot of cool things around celebrity football camps and stuff.
Sure.
I got a chance to go see the Golden Gophers, not only the new stadium that they play football in.
Stadium's great.
But I saw their hockey facility where Herb Brooks coached. That was a treat for me.
Yeah.
And fishing on Lake Minnetonka was unbelievable.
That's the lake I grew up on.
Yeah. Wow, you grew up on that?
My little town was Mound, Minnesota. We were on the shores of Lake Minnetonka. And Minnetonka, my hometown is where they made Tonka toys.
Wow.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
And more trivia.
And you go back there still? I
go back every summer for 2 weeks. I got to tell you, I don't miss winters. I just don't. You know, you're already getting a little chilly right here. It's so beautiful out, but guys, it's down to like 50 degrees. It's dropping.
It's
Trees
cold.
are starting to change.
It's chilly here.
It's chilly. It's chilly.
Why did they build an outdoor stadium for the Gophers? I can't figure it out.
I don't know. Because, I mean, it's very nice, but by the end of October, going November, it is freezing out there. And the Vikings still have one more year there, and then they go inside of the new facility, which looks really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be playing for the Vikings right now. It's way too cold.
It's too cold.
How did you get started in acting?
You know, I grew up watching a lot of old black and white movies with my mom. I'd also like to sit next to her and watch these Cary Grant, Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, all these old Hollywood golden age superstars. And then I went to see a play when I was only 11. And I knew right then and there. It was at the Guthrie Theater, which is a very famous theater in Minneapolis. A lot of people from Broadway come out there and perform at the Guthrie. On the way home, my mom said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know, I'm going to be an actor." And I got one of these. That's nice, dear. Thanks. But I kept it quiet because, you know, you got clicks. I was a jock. I played football, basketball, baseball, and golf. I was in 4 different sports.
It was hard then being in the drama club, right?
Well, I didn't do it until I got into college.
Okay.
I wanted to, but I fell to that peer pressure.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody because it was like, oh, they're going to make fun of me, and I didn't want that. But when I got to college, I started, you know, putting more time into it.
That's very cool. And when, so you were a jock, you played all these sports.
Yeah.
When did you really start building muscle and stuff? Because, I mean, your physique and, you know, as Hercules.
Here's the idiot that I was. I have 2 older brothers. Listen to your older siblings. They know things. But when they were 5 and 6 years ahead of me, and I had a sister a couple years ahead of me, they said, start lifting weights. And I go, no, it's going to wreck my touch for hoops. Look at the size of basketball players today. As long as you're working out and shooting at the same time, it's not going to hurt your
But
game.
hold on a second. You had a good argument back then, because back then,
we didn't.
People, I mean, athletes weren't that size, and people didn't believe in that.
It's true, but I wish I would have done it.
Because I remember...
I started lifting heavy my senior year in high school. That's when I started getting into it.
I remember when I would be like, oh, and Adam, you probably remember this argument. I'd be like, imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger played baseball. How amazing would that be? And people would go, no, he couldn't do it. He couldn't run. He'd be too stiff. His arms are too big.
Well, I'm 25 pounds lighter than my Hercules. I was 235 when I played Hercules. But that was my college weight as well. I mean, I was working 14 hours a day in the set, but I was lifting heavy 2 hours a day every day. So. And
it really, I mean, then it becomes your job for the show.
Yeah, but I loved it though.
Yeah.
I was in New Zealand for 7 years. Look, we passed Baywatch as the most watched show in the world. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It was an awesome show.
And it's still on Netflix. Please go to Netflix. It's still on Netflix. And
I think it's still in syndication some
places. It's still in syndication somewhere. I'm losing my mic, my battery pack. And
Sorry
anyway, yeah, it's still on, Netflix is going, and still in about, it's probably still in about 50 countries around the world, because I still get letters coming in from Guam and England. And,
I could imagine. I could imagine.
So
and do you get love letters from women?
Well, when I was actually filming, we shot from 1993 to 2000 in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson used to come on the set because he wanted it. He took a lot of my guys from my crew in our last year in 99-2000 and brought them on Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Because most of my crew went on to win Academy Awards. All the guys, the Weta group that did all of our creatures on Hercules, they went on to win like 6 Academy Awards just on Lord of the Rings.
We had Sir Richard Taylor on our set at New York Comic-Con last year.
Richard, he's the Weta group.
Yeah.
They were like a young company in 1993 when we started filming.
He tells this story about how like he started in a garage basically. His dad thought he was bonkers.
It was the size of this tent we're in right now.
That's what he told us.
And now they got a huge warehouse.
And like 7 sound stages.
Were you in San Diego?
New York Comic-Con.
New York.
Yeah.
Was that just recently?
No, it was last October. We're doing it again this October. We'd love to do San Diego.
I think I might get back down there again, so we'll see.
New York?
I like to, but I think the weekend's not going to work. I'm hosting a celebrity golf tournament in Dubai.
Wow.
In October.
Wow.
Next month. I know. They contacted me.
That's for your foundation?
No,
or
it's just they contacted me. Hercules is a huge hit there, and Andromeda, my second series, which I shot for 5 years. That was a Gene Roddenberry series. And they contacted me a year ago, and I put together a bunch of good celebs for them. And so I'm flying to Dubai in about 3 weeks.
It's got to be amazing there.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
If you happen to be at New York Comic-Con, whether it's this year or next year or whatever, we would love you to come on again, by the way. And if we ever make it to San Diego and you're there, we'll have to.
I go occasionally. That's a little easier one for me to drive down from
absolutely.
LA, but it's crazy.
Is it? What's
it's
that?
About 3 times bigger than New York.
The thing I don't get is
200,000 people, 250,000.
What's it like for you? I mean, being Hercules, right? To go to a con like Comic-Con San Diego or New York and have all these people, you can't even move, I imagine.
Well, no, people are pretty cool about it. I think both shows, they were, you know, Hercules, we laughed with the audience. We didn't take ourselves seriously with it. There was dramatic moments and stuff, but you know, it was always, they put good humor in there. It was Sam Raimi was our exec producer. You know, he did Evil Dead and all
But I mean, can you even go get a soda? You must be like...
People come on. People stop. You know, it's interesting. I had the #1 independent movie last year in Hollywood. It's called God's Not Dead.
Okay.
It's a faith-based movie. Now, I get stopped all the time for Hercules. I get stopped more now for God's Not Dead. Walking through airports, walking through the malls. It's amazing. It's interesting how it's a $2 million movie made $140 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like it just took off.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
And are you, you're doing something else now? You're about to go shoot something else, is that?
I've got a Western I'm starting pretty soon.
Wow.
I've got a comedy we're doing, making fun of political correctness.
I love that.
It's called The Incorrect Man. It's going to be very funny. If you guys like Naked Gun and airplane movies like that, people will love this.
I love the Naked Gun.
Because we need to make fun of this. We're so worried about anything and everything people say. it's gotten insane.
It's gotten insane.
It's gotten
It has,
insane.
yeah.
So, and then I sold a pilot that my wife and I developed and created to NBC and Sony. We're going to start shooting that in January. So knock on wood that it gets picked up.
Wow, very, very
We'll
cool.
see if it gets picked up.
That's awesome. I hope it does
Cool.
get picked up. So the thing that you're shooting, that you're about to shoot, that's a Western. Tell me about that. That's got to be.
It's called Redemption.
Okay.
It deals with. I'm sort of like a Jesse James guy. I've got a gang of outlaws, and we rob a bank, but the storm has just started to hit. There's hail and there's lightning, and we're riding out, and there's horrible weather, and we got to take refuge someplace. We end up in this church. We end up taking a pastor and his 2 kids hostage, and then hilarity ensues.
Wow.
No, it's a pretty heavy drama, so we'll see what happens.
I think that'll be cool.
kinda
You got a lot of cool projects going on.
I got a lot of stuff. I got my own production company, started about 7 years ago, and I probably got about a dozen films we're raising money for and doing pre-production right now on.
A lot of fun. It's hard raising money, I imagine, even when you're
tough.
Kevin
Tough.
Sorbo.
Even when it's low budget, you know, low budget movies, like we're in the $1.5 to $5 million range.
Sure.
I've got another one, a really good basketball one. We just got John Voight to sign up to be on it with me, which is going to be pretty cool.
Can't do better than that.
So, you know, we'll see. And Jim Caviezel might be in it with me as well. Jim is a
How
good
did
buddy
you
of mine.
go from being an actor to being a producer and to starting a production
Well, I
company?
started directing in Hercules, so I'm
Yeah.
DG as well. I've got a movie we're developing to shoot next year in the Philippines,
Okay.
which deals with a true story. I guess I like sports movies. It deals with a real, is a high school basketball coach from Indiana that took football down to the Philippines.
Wow.
Introduced football to and stuff like that. It's called 100 Yards.
I like these stories where we take our sports and we introduce them other places
Yeah.
and we see the impact that it has,
Well,
usually very positive impact.
All you got to do is look at any roster in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, how many from Europe now and Australia?
Sure.
And I mean, it's like
Or Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
and now the
Well,
NFL's
yeah.
expanding to Europe.
Well, I shot a commercial years ago down in the Dominican Republic. All of them play. It's like Dodgers everywhere down there. They got their sweatshirts on, but it's huge down there. But look at all, you know, how many Dominican Republicans, or however you say it, are working. I mean,
playing
in
baseball.
Major League Baseball.
It's pretty amazing.
So it's their ticket out. So
Do you feel like a businessman some days more than an actor? You're kind of
Sure.
kind of like you're a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah, I am. I get up early. I'm a 4:30, 5 o'clock guy. I'm on.
Wow.
I'm boom, boom, boom. You know, and I'm always making.
I do the
business and-
opposite. I work that late and
Yeah?
then sleep for a
Oh
couple
my
hours
gosh.
and get up.
Wow.
And so it was funny. Last week I emailed somebody at HarperCollins actually at like 4:30 in the morning, and she left me a voicemail saying, "It's funny, you get up around the same time I do every morning." And I turned to Greg. I was listening to it on speakerphone, and I go, I was going to sleep. I wasn't getting up. And it's not, I'm not out partying. I just, what happens is I do the show, I come home, I play with my son, I have dinner, put him to bed, and then I just get back to work, and it's 4:30 in the morning, and I want to be there in the morning.
I can't stay up that late, but I only get 4.5, 5 hours a night.
Well, I'm like you. I just,
thing,
I do it the opposite way. I
what I do.
cannot get up early, though. If you told me to get up at 4:30, oh.
See, I like it. I like my mornings.
Wow.
I like it. I got a great little office in my house, and
how do you find a script? How do you find something like not only, or a story? How do you find a story?
Well, it sort of feeds on itself. You know, it started with my production company. When I started with it, it was a much slower process. And then, but once people started realizing, oh, he's able to raise money, they just start coming.
Wow.
I give scripts 20 pages. So if I'm not interested, then it's next. Because, like I said, I've got enough that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just, okay, just got to, you know, I really want to spend the time and energy here. Because you only find so many investors. When I talk about a $1.5 million movie, that's nothing. I mean, that's like lunch on the set of Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, they're $200 million movies. These guys are nuts.
That's Johnny Depp's trailer.
Yeah.
For the movie.
I mean, he's getting $100 million to do this next one, I heard. So I can make a lot of movies with that.
Kevin Sorbo, you're amazing. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure.
I appreciate having you. And
if I don't see you in New York, I'll see you in Vegas at the Electric Show.
That would be great.
Show.
Yes, CES. We definitely have to get together for that. And we got to get Wowee to get you some revs. I know you said you wanted those. Yeah,
revs are cool.
Yeah, they're really awesome. So we'll get you some revs. And if you wouldn't mind, before you go, say hello to the Terrifics and then one in particular I got for you. Just say hi to the Terrifics. The Terrifics are our viewers, so just say hi.
Just say hi to the Terrifics, right in there?
Yeah.
Hello, Terrifics. Kevin Sorbo here. You better go follow me on Facebook, because I post a lot of stuff, and it's not always just, it's interesting stuff. It creates a bit of controversy. It's the Kevin Sorbo official Facebook page. So there you go, Terrifics. Follow me.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to follow you.
I post a lot of stuff.
And last thing, just say hi to Heather. That's Greg's girlfriend, and she'll appreciate that. She's a big fan.
Hi, Heather. How are you? I send you a big wet kiss. I don't know if you appreciate that, but I'm doing it anyway.
Kevin Sorbo. We'll be back with more of the Michael Artsis Show right after this from the John Stark Celebrity Golf Classic. Don't go anywhere. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special.